we need to understand that, we have a different kind of waste. The kind of waste we are generating, if you see the composition, like most of it is organic in nature, biodegradable organics, which means it could be food waste or greens or yard waste, something like that, right? Now, as a common man, we all understand that our food waste has 70 to 80% of it is water, right? The feedstock, the kind of feedstock you are giving to your waste to energy plant, it should have a certain calorific value, which means the heating value. It will drastically reduce because you are feeding more organic waste into your waste to energy plant. The other thing is it will also create a lot of emissions. Now, can we imagine that in a city like Delhi, where the air quality is already compromised, we can have so many waste to energy plants, or we can just try to segregate our waste at the source itself and then channelize it to various recycling facilities, instead of just putting all of that in a waste to energy plant and just make our air quality even worse.
Like, you need a certain kind of waste to run a waste to energy plant. It has to be high calorific waste. So according to GIZ, the kind of calorific waste that a waste to energy plant needs is 1800 kilocalories per kg. But Indian waste is low in calorific value, is high in moisture content, and is less than 1500 kilocalories per kg. So how is this technology going to work in India? Solid Waste Management Rules 2016 clearly say the waste that goes there should be non-reactive, should be non-biodegradable, it should be non-recyclable. Only these kind of waste can go. But at the moment, if segregation is not happening, how do you send that kind of waste? So what is happening is unsegregated waste, which has 50 to 60% wet waste, which has maybe 15 to 20% of dry recyclables and 10 to 15% of inert waste. This is what is going to a waste to energy plant. How will it function? So all we are doing is that we are using a lot of the government's money in using a technology which really doesn't work in the Indian context. It doesn't really produce much electricity. The way electricity produced is negligible. It doesn't take care of any of our electricity needs in the city. These are basically incinerators which the West and the developing country has been using. And because even their countries are now phasing out these incinerators, these technologies are not finding a market there, and they are trying to make markets in India and China. So the whole waste to energy plant, basically these are very, very expensive plants. They need a lot of monitoring. They need environment norms to be met.
And ideally, for a waste to energy plant, the bottom ash shouldn't be beyond 20%, but most of these plants have 40% and over bottom ash, the residual ash that is left after burning, whose disposal is again a huge, huge challenge. I mean, perhaps in some corner of the city, there is already a mountain of bottom ash that is already there and is creating a huge havoc because it is hazardous in nature. Pollution coming from waste to energy plants due to the poor quality of waste that is being fed to these plants, which is causing a great havoc to societies and residential areas. We know about the huge impact of Okla plant in Sukhdev Vihar colony, wherein even doctors have advised residents to shift if it's viable for them to shift. But of course, there's a lack of appropriate health studies or reports, and I think that level of research really needs to happen now on the ground to really establish the impact. But clearly we know that they do cause pollution because of the compromised quality of waste that is being fed to these plants. So clearly, I mean, WT in many ways is not the way to go. Of course, they are required for big cities, but why can't we have hubs or regional integrated processing sites with waste to energy plants over every city demanding its waste to energy plant? That I feel is a huge, huge flaw.